We'll be starting in about a couple of minutes. Thank you very much for joining. Can everyone hear me? Hey, Mark, good to see you. I thought you were going to be on the phone.
Yeah, well, I figured out a way how to do it on the phone. Let's put it that way.
Am I audible?
Yes, you
Hey,
are.
Bill.
You are Congressman Bill Foster.
Hey,
Thank
Mark.
you very much for
Hey,
joining
Meg.
us, Bill.
Hey, Sherry.
And I see Sherry
Hey,
there.
how are
I
you?
see Meg.
Hello.
Well, we have got about 20 plus people joining us from the Indian American, the Arab American, the African American, and the Turkish American communities. These are some of the community leaders, and I'm very happy that they will be joining us shortly. Unfortunately, they will probably log in a couple of minutes, and we'll get everybody on and let you all go, on your merry ways. It's what, less than 20 days now for the election?
Let's see. I have it on another window. It's like 17 days. 17 days, 5 hours, 0 minutes, and 47 seconds.
So many people have voted already. It's amazing in Will County.
92,000 plus people have voted, I'm told. And it is really astonishing that I live in Plainfield. Just in Plainfield, we have over 2,000 registered Indian American voters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big number, and most people are not aware of it. I got to know that when I ran for the Plainfield Village Board a couple of years back. So I got the entire list of voters, and just by looking at the names, I could dig out who are the Indian Americans and the Arab Americans in the area. So
Yep.
what we will be doing is we will be posting this on all our social media, and we will be posting this on our YouTube channels. There's like about 60 WhatsApp groups that are there in the county that are going to be getting this information, and hopefully we'll all come out and vote. And let me also tell you that I come from India, and in Indian elections, we normally have a turnout of around 60 to 80%. And so voting is in our DNA. It's a question of getting them into the right frame of mind, and we are working very hard towards that end. So let's start in one more minute, if you folks don't mind. And
Sure.
I would like to start off with the top of the ticket with Congressman Bill Foster.
Yay.
Mark, we can still see you, Mark.
Okay.
Okay, you look good.
Yep. And so you want like 3 minutes?
Yeah, if you could please
okay.
keep your remarks to 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And
We'll set up my little stopwatch here.
If you can, if you can stick around and be there if anyone have any questions, we'll try to wrap this up hopefully in 30 minutes. And
right.
you're all welcome always.
There's my timer. Okay, I'm all set to go here.
Thank you, Congressman. And you're all always welcome to also join us on Thursdays. I've started the Virtual American Town Hall. We have done 3 town halls so far. And we launched on October 1st. The website has already got about 1,500 visitors on the website. And it is going to take off. We discussed 2 national issues and 2 local issues in those town halls. It's open to everybody, whether they are Republicans, Democrats, no-crats, whatever. I mean, as long as we're all Americans, we want to make sure that people get to know what is happening in the country and, who we are. I've got a lot of people joining in as we speak. But let's get started. I am Micah Freeman. I'm the founder of a nonprofit here in Plainfield called AMAN, AMAN, which stands for American Muslims Assisting Neighbors. And we are working at the grassroots level to work with other faith-based organizations to help people in our immediate neighborhood. It's not a national organization. We are just looking to see what can we do at the local level. And with that, welcome everyone. And Congressman Bill Foster, the floor is yours.
Truly, all right. And I've started my 3-minute timer here.
Okay.
Try to keep to it. Well, first off, just a very brief introduction. I'm Congressman Bill Foster. It's my pride to represent the 11th Congressional District of Illinois, which contains actually the second, third, and fourth largest cities of Illinois in the form of Aurora, Joliet, and Naperville. And this is, as a scientist, I worked for Fermi Lab for 25 years. And at Fermi Lab, if you go up to the front, you see the flags of every country that has a scientist working there. My son and daughter went to the daycare at Fermi Lab, where more than half of the kids going to the daycare couldn't speak English. And so it really is one of the things that's in my DNA to just understand that we're all human beings, and that the artificial walls that are generated by fear and bigotry are not things that should be a permanent part of human existence. It's not been a good 4 years for that point of view. One of Trump's first acts was the Muslim ban, which we fought in the courts as long as we could, and then they are actually partially implemented as we stand right now. And the hateful rhetoric coming from the president has not stopped. It changes flavor. The hints at threats of violence come in different ways, but they have not stopped. And I'm very encouraged at the people of this area that have had a long look at that and said no. I was impressed, actually, the Republican mayor of Naperville, Steve Cherko, posted on his Facebook page a picture of his front lawn with a great big Joe Biden sign in the front of it. And when asked about it, he explained that there were unacceptable actions and attitudes, being expressed by this president, and it was not okay. And that's that's American democracy at its best. That we're not just a litmus test for party or religion or anything. We are trying to get the best person elected to each office, and someone who will really, try doing everything they can to make sure that the people they represent have the best chance of success at life. So there's a long list of repairs that we have to make to our democracy at the end of this, I guess, following the next 17 days plus 2 months of what we hope is a relatively smooth transition. And it's made a lot more complicated by the COVID crisis that is causing so much sadness in our country right now. So anyway, I just want to thank you, Mohammed, for hosting this. It's really important that the voice of everyone is heard, and that everyone is not afraid for speaking up for the things they believe in. So thank you all. I'm Congressman Bill Foster, and I've exceeded my 3 minutes by 22 seconds. So,
Congressman, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Congressman Foster? Please go ahead and unmute yourself, and you're welcome to ask any questions that you want. 2 more minutes for the questions, if anyone have any questions for Congressman Foster. Okay.
But not from the candidates. I don't want to answer questions from the candidates. I see them all the time.
I know that. I know that. By the way, Congressman and everyone else, I also wanted to introduce an upcoming candidate to you guys. And you can see her up here. Her name is Nuhi Fahim. She is my daughter, and she is planning on running for the Plainfield Village Board now.
That is great. All right,
Yep.
so Nuhi, what are the issues that you're running on?
Nuhi,
Or
if
is
you
that
can
unfair
unmute yourself.
to ambush you?
I'm asking her
You'll have to
unmute herself.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. I'm sorry, I was having some issues joining from my computer.
So I was just expressing, my happiness that you are throwing your hat in the ring and running for something. That is the most important step that any community can do to really fully enter American society. And so I think maybe it looks like that runs a little bit in your family. that gene for for adult onset political activism sometimes.
Well, Nuhi, we've got a lot of great candidates that we want to introduce, but I'll give you 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Sure. So good evening, everyone. My name is Nuhi Fahim, and I do intend on running for Plainfield trustee. Just a little quick information about me. I am a middle school Spanish teacher, and I've had some experience in the past giving back to the community through my charity work and, of course, through teaching and training others. So I'm super excited about the potential opportunity to continue to give back to the Plainfield community. And I look forward to just being on this adventure and learning from you all. So thank you.
Okay, so Nuhi is, running, and thank you very much, Nuhi, for joining us. And with that, let's come to Harry Benton. Harry, we'll start off with you because you're running for the state rep position. And by the way, Harry and I ran together for the Plainfield Village Board. And I am so happy that Harry is running for state rep, a wonderful person. Harry is, one of the best people that I've met while I was running, and we have continued to be friends. So Harry, the floor is yours.
Yeah, and I want to thank Mohammed for having me. I want to go into the 97th and start representing people's families. I think we have a lack of representation here. We have a representative that seems to represent a small group of people and not the electorate as a whole. We need to start working on income and property tax relief across the board. My property taxes just went up $510 this year, and I think that's a common trend throughout the Plainfield, Naperville, Shorewood, Oswego areas. And we need to make sure that people can afford to live within the communities. Another thing that we have to work on is we have to work on affordable healthcare across the board. And it's kind of hard to do that when you have a representative who sits on insurance committees, takes campaign contributions from insurance companies, and regularly votes against healthcare. We have to get those costs down because people are struggling. We have small business owners that are struggling right now with insurance costs, people losing their jobs, and we have seniors going to food banks right now because they can't afford prescription drugs. So we have to keep working on making this a little bit more equitable for the communities so they can get that more money back into the local economy as well. Because if we put $100 in a family's pocket, that could generate $500 worth of local economic stimulation. And these are small business owners. These are our neighbors that are struggling right now. Restaurant owners, small shops within the downtown areas, and that creates growth and expansion within our local communities, which in turn helps lower property taxes by diversifying the tax base. I also want to work on trade and vocational initiatives. I'm a union iron worker, and we make pretty good money, and there's good opportunities within the trades, and we can't keep pushing everybody towards college. And college isn't always a successful option for everyone. And we still need plumbers and carpenters and iron workers and operators. And pretty soon, if we don't keep pushing young men and women towards those trades, we're gonna lose all that information. We're missing out on a lot of successful transferring of that knowledge to the younger generation. It's very unfortunate. We're seeing it right now. Starting salary for a first period apprentice iron worker is $29 an hour. When people find out about that, and they had no idea, nobody ever talked about that in school, they said, I would have been an iron worker. Mm-hmm. Instead, I went to college, and now I've got $75,000 worth of student loans, and I don't even have a job yet. So these are opportunities that we can push for the community, and we need access for everyone within the community. We also need a voice for everyone.
We are running out on time on you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I want to make sure that everybody has access to happiness and freedom, regardless of color of skin, religion, sexual orientation. Everybody needs equality across the board, and I also want to fight for that. I know there was an issue in the past in Plainfield when the mosque was trying to come in. We need to make sure that everybody has equal opportunities within their municipalities, within their communities, and they need a voice, and they need a voice down in Springfield too. And I want to be that voice. And
Well,
again, thank you for having me on.
you are welcome, Harry, and we would be definitely going to bat for you, not for the bat that I see all the time, but we're going to bat for you now. Okay, as you know that my background has been in workforce and economic development for the past almost 14 years now. Prior to that, in various things from construction to the internet to anchoring the morning news back in Houston. That's what my background is. And in workforce and economic development, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've been doing a lot of workshops, training people how to apply for jobs and stuff. And I presented a workshop at Schaumburg Library a couple of years back on careers out of high school that don't need a college degree. You are so very right. I mean, if you get into manufacturing as a CNC operator, for example, after 18, in 10 years, you will be making over $100,000 with no student debt on you. Most people are unaware of that. And, I would love to do something like that in Will County as we go. But thank you again. And Harry, stick around. If people have a question, we'll definitely come back to you. And I would like to bring in Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant. She is going to be for the CEO position in Will County. And Jennifer, welcome to our meet and greet today for the candidates running for office in Will County. Thank you very much for joining.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and it's good to see everyone. I haven't seen the Congressman in a while, so it's good to see his face. Well, I've seen him in Zooms like this, but they seem like they're larger. Harry, I've got about a zillion of your pieces in my mailbox, so it's good. So I'm seeing you here and that. That's good. So, but I'm glad to see we have some people running in the Plainfield, the village too. I think that's critical because when Harry, I'll be honest, when Harry said he was going to run, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, we finally got someone on the village board. Don't leave us there. So I'm glad to see that we have some bright young talent running. So that's great. So do you, Marlon, I'm sorry, do you want me to just do a quick introduction? How do you want me to do this?
Well, I know you personally very well, but what is the Will County CEO position? How important is it? And what do you hope to bring to that table?
Right. Well, that's a great question. So for those of you who know me, I'm Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant. I'm currently the state senator in the 49th district. You're going to meet Meg in a little bit, who is running for my seat, if you haven't already. So sorry, I came in late. I'm a school teacher by trade, so I still tell people I'm an educator. So I started off as a teacher, became a school principal in 2006. I became the Will County Regional Superintendent of Schools, so I have run county-wide before. In 2012, when the 49th district became open, it was a brand new seat. I ran and was successful, and I'm proud of the work that I've done there for the last eight years. I am a strong education advocate. I chair the education committee, and one of probably our most foremost successes was the education funding reform. When Harry talks about property taxes, truly the only way, truly only the way to have them reduced is if the state participates more in funding our education system. So we rehauled the system. It commits a certain amount of money. We need to keep doing that. COVID has really put an anchor in that and slowed it down a little bit, but I know the governor is committed to this. So again, we need to make sure that we continue to put more state dollars in that. And that's going to now be Harry and Meg's job to ensure that. And I'm confident they're going to both do that. So the Will County executive, we always kind of joke that it's like the governor of the Will County. We're one of two areas that have that. We're not a voting member unless there's a tie. We have veto power, but pretty much we run the departments in the county. So your highway department, your animal shelters, your 911 center, EMA. So their workforce development, veterans commission. So there's numerous departments in the county, and it's the county executive that oversees these departments to ensure that the county is getting efficient services. So that is the role that I am running for. When the late Larry Walsh decided that he was not going to run, I felt it was my opportunity to come home. I enjoy policy. I enjoy work advocating for people, and it was a good opportunity for me to do what I enjoy doing, but closer to home. I've always said since the very beginning, this is not about, Will County's in a good position, and I applaud the board members who have been in. Lori's on here, and she's a former board member, and Sherry's on there. I applaud the work they've done. They've been fiscally responsible. While this pandemic is taking a hit on us, and it's going to take a hit on Will County, it is not going to devastate this county like it is other areas, and that's because of the work the board does. So for me, it's not about, a lot of people run for office because they're complaining about something. I'm doing it just because I want to bring my leadership style to Will County. I have the leadership skills. I have the communication skills. I pride myself for the last 8 years. I have an open door policy. I don't shy away from conflict. I welcome and listen to people. My town halls, my coffees. I've done telephone town halls because I truly believe government is for the people, and I only get better, and the county only gets better if we take some suggestions from people. And some of the big things we're going to have to work on moving forward is obviously the COVID-19. We're not out of it. It's still a health crisis. We need to make sure that the county prioritizes the need to still be safe, wear your mask, social distance. We're not out of it yet. But along with that too, we need to make sure that our economy is growing and moving forward. So that's going to be one of our biggest priorities. We need to look at infrastructure. I mean, it's not going away. We've done reports, but we need to start taking a regional approach and not piecemealing it. I think the county government needs to be a strong voice in this. So we're not just talking about what's going on out east or what's happening out west. We have to start taking a regional approach, and I'm confident that my style of leadership will help in that. Again, we have numerous other things. We can't forget about things like our water supply, our opioids. So we know there's a lot to look at. But again, for me, it's about moving Will County from good to great. I have no complaints. There's been a lot of good done. This is about a different leadership style, and I'm very excited about the opportunity. And I really appreciate you letting me be here and sharing that.
Well, thank you for joining us, Jennifer. In yesterday's Virtual American Town Hall, we had a computer scientist, and Micah had participated in it. We learned so much about artificial intelligence and the role that it is going to play going forward in every aspect of our life, from the economy on to you name it. The kind of jobs that are going to be lost because of artificial intelligence, but the replacement jobs that could be there with proper training and workforce development are going to be paying more than what the current jobs are paying. Great discussion yesterday. I'm going to be posting it on the website for the Virtual American Town Hall, and also on YouTube. When you folks are past this election, take a look. I mean, the guy had really, really drilled down to how other countries are using artificial intelligence, to really grow their economies, and how the US is so far behind. China and Germany are the leaders in that field right now. With that, if you can please stick around. And Congressman Foster, thank you so much for sticking around. I was not expecting you to be around this long, but that shows your commitment to our community. That shows, whenever I see you, you are so well informed. Total inspiration for me. With that, let's bring in Meg and see what Meg has to say about this, and then we'll go to Lori, then we'll go to Mark, and down the line to everybody. And
I
Lori,
gotta give a shout out to Mark. I didn't see him on there. Mark's on there too. You're a rock star too on that county board. So I feel bad. I just saw.
Okay, because Meg, I really don't know much about you. And I don't think our community knows much about you. Mark has been a good friend. Mark is so well known, and I see and I hear Mark's passion in every meeting that I attend for the Will County Democrats. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I do would like to take this opportunity for people to get to know me more, because this is kind of my first, big state race I've ever run for. And so I'm trying to do my best during these pandemic times to get out in front of people. So thank you very much for inviting me and having me be a part today. So I will introduce myself. I am a special education teacher. I'm an educator as well by trade. I was off a little bit with my children, raising them, but I've been at a under-resourced, lower income school on the east side of Joliet, high immigrant families, for 12 years. And I always tell people that, when you work so closely with families that just want to make sure that their kids get the best education, and move up the economic ladder, it changes you, and it changes your perspective, and it makes you really want to be a part of making your community better. And I thoroughly enjoyed those years that I did that. So advocacy is a big part of who I am as a special education teacher. So that is kind of something that I wanted to take forward when I was a part and decided to run in 2017 for the Joliet Township High School School Board. So actually, Mohammed, I haven't really been on the scene very long. I've only been doing this since 2017.
I know. I mean, I really wasn't, well aware of you, so I decided to kind of bring you up a little bit, And thank you so much for introducing yourself. Anything that we can do, like I said, just in Plainfield alone, there's over 2,000 Indian American and Arab registered voters. And, that is a fact that is not well known, but all over Will County, you can just imagine how many voters are there.
Yeah.
And who are passionate about voting. I've also got Mr. Wasim Iftikhar, who is actually the president and founder of Northern Illinois Muslim Alliance, which is a big group now that is working to get the vote out among especially the Muslim American community. And we've got another person, good leader, Ali Yurtsever from the Turkish community, who is also on that you're not seeing at the moment.
Okay.
But thank you again, and hopefully all of you will, and we will keep Will County blue.
Yeah, can I finish? So I just want to tell you what I'm running for. No, I'm sorry. So anyway, the long story short is I was on the Joliet Township School Board for 3 years, and this opportunity came up. So I'm the same as everyone else. I want to make sure that we continue evidence-based funding. I feel like if I get elected, I'm filling huge leadership shoes with Senator Bertino Tarrant. We're going to continue evidence-based funding. I would like to continue to make healthcare affordable and just be a voice for working families that have to make those kitchen table budget decisions through lowering our property taxes and incentives for small business owners, because I'm a small business owner as well. But thank you again for having me. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come today.
Well, I'm calling Pastor Lawrence Blackfull to join us. He was supposed to join us, but he was at a funeral. So Pastor, we're waiting for you to join the conversation. We've got a great conversation going, and please join in as quickly as you can. Okay, so he will be joining us. Pastor Blackfull is my co-host on the Virtual American Town Hall, and a wonderful person, has got a great feel for what the African American community is going through, and he'll be joining us in just a couple of seconds. And with that, let me come down to Mark Ferry. And Mark, if you could please unmute yourself and join the conversation and tell us all about what you are and what you plan to do. What have you done for Will County so far?
Well, thank you, Mohammed, and thank you for hosting this event this evening. I ran first of all, let's talk about my work career. When I was a 24-year employee of Citgo refinery out in Romeoville, I also was a union rep at that time. So I stuck up for a lot of people and saved a lot of people's jobs at various different times, with winning a few grievances here and there and a few battles with the company. So I've always been an advocate for the worker. And when I started 8 years ago, I took a look at Will County and I said, why don't we make it Will Work County instead? And so I was determined that I would support and promote all the projects with yes votes that we have done in the last 8 years, which includes the Sheriff's Department, the Health Department, the Animal Control, and of course, our key project was the Will County Courthouse. And I'll tell you what, the craftsmen in their long hours of hard work did an excellent job on everything we've called on them for. So organized labor, you did a great job. And as we all know, or as we all witnessed, America works best when it says union yes. And I believe in a fair, even playing field for everybody. And I'll continue to strive for that. And I'll continue to do my best, being a tireless advocate, as I've been called, for senior citizens and try to help them. And by the way, I believe you said your organization was, the acronym was MAN? Muslims
It is actually AMAN, AMAN. AMAN means peace. That is the literal meaning of the word peace.
Yeah, and you said something about Muslims assisting neighbors?
Yes, American Muslims assisting neighbors.
And I salute you for having everyone coordinated on that effort and where your heart's at on that.
But, you know, really Harry was referring to food banks in Plainfield. A couple of years back at, you know, Thanksgiving, we wanted to invite our neighbors to break bread with us. And when I brought it up to our local board at the local mosque over there, they kind of looked at me strange and said, "We got poor people here in Plainfield?" I said, "Yep, yeah. There are 2 food pantries, and one of them that I approached had over 500 registered people who were looking for assistance. This is pre-COVID. I'm pretty sure the numbers have gone up now. So we went out and, you know, we invited 100 of those registered members of the food pantry to come and have, you know, turkey with all the trimmings with us in the mosque, and in the basement of the mosque. We did a get together for everybody in the community. Of course, it was halal turkey, being Muslims. Okay, so I don't want to get into the halal part of it and explain it, but this is all about giving back. This is our country. This is where we are. And, you know, we are mandated as Muslims to be respectful of the authority of the country that we are living in. And it's all about giving back. Thank you so much for your service, Mark. I mean, I look up to you in all the meetings. I always look up to you. You've been a great influence for me. And
well, I got to say that I've tried to do my best for everybody, and I will continue to do so. As long as they keep voting for me, I'll keep doing it.
Well, and we can't do it without the unions, you know, working hard, and the union members are the backbone of this country.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, I like to point out and thank you with that organization that you're heading up with, Muslims Assisting Neighbors. That really touches right to the heart of what should be going on. And it shouldn't only be your group, it should be all groups.
Well,
but
we partner with all the faith-based institutions over here. Thank you so much, Mark.
All right.
And if you could please, you know, stay around, that would be great, because a lot of people are going to be seeing these videos once we are done. And with that, let me jump around a little bit and bring in Lori Summer. Lori, what is it about being a coroner that kind of, you know, excites you? I know that you have a nursing background, but why digging into people after they're dead?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Said, why dig into people after they are dead? I mean, what does the coroner do? What is the importance of a coroner? Explain it to me.
The coroner does a number of things. Okay. So, and not too many people want to think about the coroner's office. Yep. It's because it's about your mortality. I've been saying that all along. The coroner wears many hats. There's administrative jobs that you have to do, as well as working with the deputy coroners down at the morgue and the pathologist. My nursing background has come in quite handy for that. My heart was always in trying to figure out how to help people. Well, this is the other end of the spectrum. I have to figure out what happened. And so with my nursing background, because 80% of our cases are medical, I have to bring all that together and figure out how we went from here to here. The administrative job you oversee, we've got 22 people in the office, from the administrative, folks that work at the actual administrative office, again, to our deputy coroners. I work with pathologists every day, and depending on the type of case it is, we do have to bring them in for autopsies, and we run something called toxicology, so we can figure out what happened to them. It's a different kind of job, and I actually love it. It has been a challenge for me, but I love challenges. It's just a good thing for me. It keeps me busy. We also have to, there's different ways to take care of your family member when they have died, and that could be with burial or cremations. And there's a whole process to do the cremations, because we have to be sure that it's okay to do, because that's very final. You've seen where people have been exhumed in different cases. If they're cremated, we cannot do that and go back and look at things. So I deal with hospitals, I deal with law enforcement, I deal with doctors every day, and family members, which is a very important part of the job. So as I'm signing out the cases, I make sure I call every family and explain to them what happened to their family member, and they deserve that answer. They deserve that answer, and it doesn't matter what the circumstance was.
Absolutely.
Their family, and they need to know what happened to their family member. It is a challenging job for sure. I have some of the best staff in the whole wide world. Our deputy coroners are incredible. They work 24-hour shifts. And they go into every one of those situations, and they treat every single person. I've been out in the field with all of them, and they do it with grace and dignity. I am very proud to say that. And I want to keep that going. Mark, hopefully the unions are going to be building us a morgue within the next year, and I think that that's going to happen. That was one of my campaign goals, and behind the scenes, I've been working with people like Mark and Sherry Newquist and other county board members that I sat with while I was on the county board. And they recognized it. I actually had several county board members come down to the morgue just recently and take a look at it. The morgue was initiated where it's at now in 2002. It was supposed to be a temporary morgue, and it's 18 years later. The county of Will has grown exponentially since then, and we're just bursting at the seams. Because our coroners are on 24-hour shifts, they need a place where they can come back, get some rest if they need it, and they don't have any of that right now. So I did reach across the aisle. I worked with both sides of the party on this, and fortunately, very rapidly, they were like, okay, yeah. And the morgue was put on the Capital Improvements Committee this past month and was moved to executive. I'm also working with the CARES Act people. Sherry Newquist sits on that. The CARES Act dollars came in because of the COVID, and the coroner's office was impacted quite heavily because of that. Even though we did not take jurisdiction over hospital cases or nursing home cases, because the folks were diagnosed and we knew what the cause of death was. So in the beginning, when everything started happening, that was one of the safety measures we put in. If we could avoid 4 moves of that body and they had COVID, we wanted to avoid it. So we sat down with the hospitals and the nursing homes in an agreement, and with the doctors, and they all agreed that if they knew that that was the cause of death, they would sign it out, so they would move directly from those facilities to the funeral home or wherever the families had decided to send their family member for disposition. Also within 2 weeks, with working with our great EMA, I was able to obtain a temporary morgue that kept the COVID positive bodies that we did bring back in out of the building, because not only are we there, but Department of Trans is there, and the Will County Sheriff's Police substation is there. And as we know, this horrible virus it just spreads like crazy. So fortunately, we did not have to bring anyone in, and we are not, if they are COVID positive, only under special circumstances, we are not doing autopsies on them, because again, that would expose anyone that has to attend that autopsy.
I really respect the service that you provide to the community. A lot of people are not aware of what the coroner's office does.
Exactly.
I mean, especially I'm referring to the immigrant American community. You know, there's so much that we have to learn about how things function over here. You know, the political structure. It was a maze for me when I first came to the country about 35, 36 years back. And I'm still learning, and thank you so much for sharing, you know, your challenges and your service. Man, that is to be applauded. I would, you know, be the first one to say, you know, all the more power to you, and hopefully, you know, you will be in the office for a long time to come.
Thank you very, very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, a question has come up before I bring in, you know, our next speaker, and if anyone can answer that, it would be appreciated. Jennifer has kind of answered that. The question that is coming from Shahid Qadri is, how can a voter find out the party affiliation and position in past judgments, etc., of the judges that are up for retention?
That's a good question.
And, you know, because we are trying to educate our community over here to look at everybody, and we have come up with a list of, you know, people that we would like the community to vote for. Jennifer, do you mind coming back in and answering that?
Yeah, so it's a little more difficult because obviously it's, you know, judges run under a party affiliation, but once they are elected, they're no longer able. They have to separate. They have very strict ethical rules in regards to fundraising and their involvement in certain activities. So that's why you do not see them on the ballot. I know on our Will County Dem page, they have listed the judges that because you're going to go in and you're going to vote for retention, whether or not they have to get a certain percent, 60% to just retain them. So you're basically just saying yes or no if you want to retain them. So, and I know the Will County Democrat Central Committee page has the list of them who are recommended. I could read them all off, but I don't know if you want, I mean, I know who they are just because I know who they are, but I can send you, Mohammed, the link to the Will County Central Committee's Facebook page, and they have the Democrats listed there.
Wonderful. I've made a note of it, and I would love for you to send a link also. I hope, Shahid, that answers your question. And, you know, this is a wonderful forum for people to answer, because this question was asked to me about 2 or 3 days back. And I said, you know, I got the experts coming in. I'll let them answer, because I really don't have much information. I know that Nuhi went and did her own research before she sent in her vote. And she's already sent in her vote, and she, you know, ready to roll, I guess. And let's see, who can we get on now? We got Micah. I think we can definitely bring you on. If you could please unmute yourself and tell us who you are, why you want to run. I know that you have an education background, same as my daughter, who has her master's in instructional design. Okay, please go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, my name is Micah Freeman. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a former teacher. I'm active with our church. I am active with ParentWise, a volunteer organization through Lurie's Children's Hospital in Chicago that helps other parents prepare for large surgeries like my daughter had back in 2012, I think. It's been a while, but it's still like, it's memory is there like it was yesterday. But we help, so I help those families. I started getting an interest into politics when in 2018, I learned that my state representative, whom Harry Benton is now taking on, was present and did not vote to make sure that pre-existing conditions were not a consideration for insurance companies, that they would never be able to, you know, penalize you for having a pre-existing condition. And it hit home with my daughter, and I learned that he was about to run unopposed. I had like a month to get all of my signatures, all 1,500 signatures, and I did it. And I just couldn't let him run unopposed and just keep tarrying on doing nothing. Obviously, I didn't win. I came very close in my eyes. But while I was campaigning, I learned that a lot of the concerns that the constituents were having were on a county level. And so my goal after running in 2018 was to just kind of sit back and let everybody else, you know, take over. And then I thought, you know, I can't. I am a helper, and I want to help my neighbors. I want to help my community. And so I decided I needed to do this. And Mark and I sat down and we had a conversation, and we decided we would be a good working team. His goal is, you know, Will County will work. I would like to see Will County as the destination for working families. I keep seeing, you know, people moving out, and I'd like to see them moving in. And we have to keep them at work, and we have to keep them happy. And I thank you for hosting this again tonight. I would encourage everybody to come on their Thursday nights. It's a very lively discussion, and it's very informative, and it does help you see what everybody else is thinking. And so that's
the whole idea behind the virtual American town hall was this, Micah. The media generally is, you know, bought and paid for by special interest, and the common person on the ground has no way to have their voice heard. So we decided to do that, and you know, me and Pastor Blackfield had a talk on that, and he said, "Hey, Mohammed, I'm with you. Let's get this thing going so the people on the ground have a voice in the political discourse. They know what the problems are." And we ask people not just to come with problems, what are the solutions that you would like to see our leaders implement? That's what we are doing. And I would like to bring in one of our community leaders over here, Ehsan Khaja. Ehsan is a CPA, and he had a quick remark on what Harry Benton was saying. So Ehsan, the floor is yours.
Yes, I really like the approach and the solution which Harry gave. Everybody doesn't need to have a college degree. We are running with more than 55% people who have college degrees, but what actually do they do? I mean, do you really need those degrees to do most of the work? And in UK, you find the degrees are like 18%. I believe only 18% of the population has college degrees. The education is more focused on trades, and training the right people at the right time to their interest should be our approach. And I see a lot of people. I have been a CPA for 23 years. I have done taxes of thousands of people, and I see their problems. And people are drowning in student loans. And the only way they think is more education. They take more loan, do a master's, and still do the same work as they were doing before. What if you ask me, what is your solution? What is the direction we should take? I would say after high school, whoever is really interested in education, have an aptitude to go for some white collar professions, they should do it. But those who really have to do a college degree to get a basic job, they should not be forced towards college degrees. They should be supported, like in community college, to develop a trade. There are a lot of trades, like he said, that they pay very good amount of money per hour, but our people don't even know about it. At least in the immigrant community I see, people have no idea what the factory jobs are about, what those specialists do. I've seen factory workers making $120,000, $150,000 a year. And I have seen lawyers struggling to make $50,000, $60,000 a year. And
you are so right. You are so right, Ehsan. And we will do some awareness in the communities on that. Am I missing any one of the candidates? Please unmute yourself and I see Sherry unmuting. Sherry,
Yes.
please welcome and talk to us
Hello.
about who you are, what do you want to do, and what have you done? What
Okay,
made
well,
you want to run?
I will be quick. So I have been politically involved for many years. I was on the Steger South Chicago Heights Library Board. I was on the Steger Village Board, which was very difficult. For 2 years, I was literally the swing vote for every single issue. It was a bitterly divided vote, and I was the person who generally made the decision. So that really kind of got me hooked in local government. And I truly believe in the power of government to improve people's lives. I mean, that's a little bit of an old-fashioned notion, but I come from an area that's incredibly diverse. We're the far eastern side of the county, and we can be a little bit of the forgotten child sometime, but we're very diverse in terms of race, economic development. We are very diverse in terms of geography. We have farms and we have suburbs. So my goal is to really make sure that the eastern side of the county is getting the services that we need, and also to help improve, to generate some economic activity. A lot of people have to commute for jobs. I commuted downtown. I worked on LaSalle Street for 29 years, and I'm now a vice president of a startup. I was employee number 2, and now I'm the vice president. So, and I'd like to see other people have that opportunity also. On the county board, I've been really impressed with the quality of people, with the staff. I mean, as Jennifer says, I think it's really good and it can only get better. And I've been very honored to be part of the CARES committee. I've had the opportunity to help direct the $130 million in CARES funding that we've been looking to get into the hands of the people that need it the most: businesses, government, nonprofits. So that's me, and I really appreciate the opportunity. I know most of you probably aren't in my district at all, but I was really glad to come and hear what everyone had to say, so I appreciate the chance.
Well, here's the thing. We all have family spread out throughout the district. So if someone is not in your district, don't let that fool you. A lot of people are around over here who are going to get the word out. And speaking of some of the workforce and economic development ideas that have been floating around, I would like to bring in Pastor Blackful to say a few quick words about some of the projects that Pastor Blackful and I have worked together for, especially in South Chicago and other places in that part of town. Pastor Blackful, a couple of quick minutes about what you have been doing for the community and what you hope that these members, the congressmen and the board members and the state reps, what would you want to see from them, especially for the African American community?
Well, first of all, thanks, Mohammed, for bringing this meeting together, and good evening to everyone. I would like to begin by just kind of sharing, as Mohammed has stated, he and we've been working together for almost 5 years now. We came together primarily around some workforce development things that we've worked on over the years. And that is something that we continue to work toward, but we've expanded our work to go beyond just workforce development, and which is what brings us to the table and the conversation of being more politically involved. I am the senior pastor of Bethel Church located in Chicago Heights. And our church is 90 years old. And I am the 7th pastor there. I've been pastoring for 8 years now. We also have a community center there in Chicago Heights that services our homeless population. We do workforce development. We have a pre-apprenticeship program through the U.S. Department of Labor, where we're training young people and getting them certified in the construction trades and preparing them for apprenticeship opportunities. These are some of the things that we've done. Mohammed and I have been working to bring into the Southland. Now, as a pastor in Chicago Heights, I'm a resident of Moni. And so that's why I'm engaged in Will County probably just as much now as I have been in Cook County. And so what we're doing in Cook County as it relates to workforce development and training, our community center has been established for 40 years. The work that we've been doing in workforce development has been around for almost that long. And so we've established a track record and we have a number of success stories. And what we're looking to do now is to be able to bring what we're doing in Cook County as it relates to workforce development, our pre-apprenticeship training, also addressing the issue of homelessness as well, bringing those resources to Will County. But also, what I have found is when I visit some of the political offices, some of the government offices in Will County, I don't see a lot of people that look like me. As I look at even, many of the folk who are running, I don't see a lot of folk that look like me. And so I really would like to see that change. I would like to see more participation from the African American community, but also representation from the African American community. One of the things that we've been talking about most recently is, how do we deal with some of the resources that are coming available, especially in the Will County area, as it relates to the marijuana tax and things of that nature. And how is the African American community going to benefit from things like this, legislation like this, and the resources that are to come? And at the end of the day, there's still an issue that has to be addressed. And I think that everyone that currently holds office and those that are seeking to hold office, there has been a wrong that has been done to the African American community. And everyone, no matter what level of government that you are running on, I believe that every single person should have an agenda and a plan for how they're going to use their office or their role to help right the wrongs that have been done to the African American community. And with that, I'll digress.
Thank you so much, Pastor Blackful. And am I missing any of the candidates that are running? Please unmute yourself and say, hey, you missed me. Bring me on. If not, I would like to end tonight's meeting, and we like to end our virtual American town hall meetings also. Did I hear someone?
Fahim, if you allow me just 1 minute, I want to make a comment.
Okay, let me bring on Mr. Wasim Iftikhar. Wasim, I don't see you.
Okay,
but, he is the founder of the Northern Illinois Muslim Alliance, and there he is. And if you give me 1 second, let me just bring you, add you in over here. Please go ahead.
First of all, I think it was a great idea. Although I don't live in Wills County, I live in Lake County. In the beginning of this presentation, there was a discussion around career goals. I think Harry Benton mentioned it. Several people mentioned it. I'm a member, I'm a trustee of the College of Lake County. And I was never really exposed to community colleges till I was given this position. And I was really surprised at the amount of education one can get in community colleges. And I think in line with what was said earlier in terms of education not being just a path that people follow, master's degree, bachelor's degree, rather than professional courses, I just want to pitch in that those who are standing for election, please take a look at, I'm sure many of you have already done it, look at what our neighborhood colleges are offering. CLC is one example, because every every county, I'm sure, is doing what we are doing. Enrollment is down by 13.4% in community colleges. International students are not coming in. And the future of education in community college is at stake. And I think this is a point I wanted to make because of my brief but very educating experience. And Congressman Foster is here. I'm so happy to see you. I've never seen you before in person on camera, and I hear so many good things about you. Muslim community is very proud of what you're doing. But from a community college perspective, please, at the level of Congress and at the local level, just give it a priority in terms of looking at the resources. Thank you very much for the time.
Could I say something?
Please go ahead.
Mohammed?
Please go ahead.
It's Lori. I am a proud graduate of a community college.
So
that
am
is
I.
where I got my nursing degree at.
I see Micah
Ferry State College.
You betcha.
Okay.
And you're going to show one other thing. This is for my union guys.
All right. Awesome.
Hey. Wonderful. Well,
love it. Buy an iron worker, Mr. Harry.
All right.
Yeah,
Local 551. Auto
Here
workers.
it is. I have one too.
Wait, do you? I lost you guys.
Well, thank you all for joining us in our town halls. Also, we are making a habit of ending the meetings with a prayer, and I would like Pastor Blackfold to please say a blessing for all of us over here and make sure that we are following the right path. And hopefully, we'll have God's blessings on this gathering and all the folks that have attended. Pastor Blackfold.
With pleasure. God, thank you for this time. Thank you for each and every person that's a part of tonight's meeting, those who desired to be a part but couldn't, those that will view this meeting online in the future. We ask your blessing. We ask that you guide those who are seeking public office. We ask that you would be with and guide those who are currently holding public office. And we pray, God, that each and every one of us as the electorate would seek your guidance as we seek to support those who will make our lives, our communities, our families, and ultimately our world a better place to live. This we ask in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you, folks. Please have a good night. I was thinking that we would go like half an hour. We have gone for 1 full hour on this, and may God give everyone in His grace. And as like like Joe Biden ended up saying, he threw in an inshallah when he was debating Trump, and inshallah means as God wills. And we will do our best to make sure that the county stays the background